Welcome to the Lurie Children's Federal Regulations presentation, part of the Ann and Robert H. Lurie Children's Hospital of Chicago HRPP training series. After this presentation on federal regulations, you should be able to identify the 3 ethical principles from the Belmont Report, describe the different federal laws and regulations, discuss when each set of regulations are applied, and explain if there are any regulations specific for research with children. The Belmont Report, written in 1979, is the basis of many federal regulations currently in place. The Commission identified 3 ethical principles that are key to conducting good clinical research: beneficence, respect for persons, and justice. Beneficence has become the basis for clinical researchers needing to minimize any risks to research participants with proposed benefits. Respect for persons has become the basis for requiring informed consent to be obtained from all research participants. Participant privacy and confidentiality should be maintained. Additional safeguards for special populations, such as pregnant women, neonates, and children, are in place to protect them. Lastly, justice has become the basis for making sure there is equitable recruitment of subjects from all races, ethnicities, and monetary backgrounds. This ensures that the burdens and benefits of clinical research are fairly shared by the entire population. Based on the Belmont Report, the federal regulations were written to ensure a consistent level of protection for all those who choose to participate in research studies. The so-called Common Rule is a set of regulations from the Department of Health and Human Services, or DHHS. Most federal agencies have decided to adopt the Common Rule for any research which may fall under their jurisdiction. The Common Rule can be found in the Code of Federal Regulations at 45 CFR 46. At Lurie Children's, we apply the Common Rule to any human subjects research, regardless of the funding source. The Federal Drug Administration, or FDA, has its own sets of regulations which are very similar to the Common Rule. These can be found in the Code of Federal Regulations at 21 CFR Parts 50 and 56. The FDA regulations need to be applied to all studies that involve an investigational drug, device, or biologic. Lastly, the International Conference on Harmonization created the Good Clinical Practice Guidelines, which are a rigorous set of practices for clinical research and are applied for all studies which are done internationally. Many sponsors will require that a study be conducted according to ICH GCP guidelines. Part of the Common Rule includes Subpart D. This is a specific set of regulations for those studies that include children as research subjects. The FDA regulations also have a Subpart D dedicated to children's research. One example of the additional protection that each Subpart D requires for research with children is assigning a risk category to research studies. The risk categories include minimal risk studies, or those that involve no more risk than encountered in everyday life, and greater than minimal risk studies that may include a prospect of direct benefit. Studies that are greater than minimal risk without the prospect of a direct benefit require signatures from both parents. In summary, all research studies at Lurie Children's are subject to the Common Rule. If a study involves a drug, device, or biologic, then the FDA regulations are applied. Studies involving children are subject to additional protections from Subpart D. For additional information on federal regulations, please review Section 1 of the Policy and Procedure Manual or the hyperlinked regulations here. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact any IRB staff. Thank you for reviewing this information.